Instead of a cartoon-like avatar, your real face can now be in the metaverse. London-based startup Logarithmic has developed an artificial intelligence-powered software that can create a lifelike digital model of a person's face in minutes. The company hopes their simple setup can be replicated in real shopping malls, where customers will be able to create their digital twin to take into the metaverse. How does the technology work? Only portable desktop devices are needed. Abhijit Ghosh is the co-founder of Logarithmic and a professor at Imperial College London.
Yeah, so what we have here is a setup where we have a semicircular arrangement of 8 tablets and 7 iPhones. And in this case, the iPhones are recording the facial appearance as these tablets illuminate with our specially designed lighting conditions. And with that, we get all of the 3D shape and appearance that we then can use to create a realistic rendering of a human face.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord hath not done it? Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord Yahweh hath spoken, who can but prophesy? Amos chapter 3, verse 6 to 8. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. And all honor to our venerable apostles and others of great millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to our Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, lower and to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. And I have another article, all right, the Water Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Today is July the 9th, all right, 2025. Okay, and it seems like every day, all right, every single day, 2025 has been a year of major escalation of prophecy. All right, both the prophecy of World War III and also the prophecy of the MOTB. Okay, now just this past weekend, all right, I believe it was it Friday, 4th, they officially passed that so-called One Big Beautiful Bill here in the States. All right, now the equivalent of that, I believe they're still working on in the European countries, if they haven't done so already. Okay, but basically that opens the door for them to go ahead and establish this so-called Stargate or Project Stargate and so on and so forth, which is all part of the ushering in of the MOTB system, hence the MOTB itself. Okay, and it looks like Europe is leading the charge, all right, in the sense of their progress, all right, or the quote-unquote progress, I should say, right? But you know, their march toward the MOTB, okay, the march toward their mark. All right, so the article says, imagine a world where every transaction you make, every website you visit, every thought you dare to express online is silently recorded, cross-checked, and stored, not just by tech giants, but by your government. Imagine your identity, bank access, health records, and even your ability to travel or speak freely, all locked behind a single digital key, one that can be disabled without warning. Now, does that not sound like everything we've been saying for all these years about how things are gonna get to a point where back then when we were saying it, it wasn't in the realm of possibility in the minds of people who heard it. So it always sounded crazy to them. You know what I'm saying? Back then when we were talking about World War III, the MOTB, all these different things, Jacob's Trouble, you know, martial law. Martial law is just being spoken of a couple of weeks ago with this whole LA riot stuff. People were all, martial law is the talk of the town, you know? But when we were saying these things were going to happen, people looked at us like we're crazy. You guys are just conspiracy nuts. Nobody cared what we had to say. Now you're starting to see these things play out, and they're playing out exactly how we said they would play out. Sometimes it's even word for word. Why? Because it's biblical prophecy, and we are truly the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Starting from my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. Okay? And even the AI bots, which is all set up by Esau and them, that also confirms All right, what I just said through the Spirit. Okay, and Elder Apostle Hart did a video on that, and I was like, damn, that's heavy, you know. So even the AI that they created is all confirming exactly what we've been saying. All right, that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is truly dealing with his men. All right, we just read that in Amos, the 3rd chapter. So anyway, let's keep going. It says, you don't need to imagine. That world is already here, and Europe is leading the charge. Under the guise of safety and convenience, right, peace and safety, the European Union has begun implementing a sweeping framework of digital control. 2 pillars support it. The Digital Service Act or Services Act, which will be abbreviated as DSA, which dictates what you're allowed to say, and the EU Digital Identity Wallet, which determines who you're allowed to be. That's crazy. All right, and this is happening. All right, this is not no like 5-10 years down the line. No, this is happening now as we speak. Okay, together they are transforming Europe into something chillingly dystopian. The continent, once proud of its democratic legacy, is quietly building a digital fence, one that no citizen will be able to escape from. Okay, and that's all biblical prophecy, and that no man might buy or sell. No one is going to escape from this. All right. On paper, the Digital Services Act claims to protect citizens from harmful content, right? And that's the prophecy where the Lord Scripture says that he's going to use deception. Okay, they deceived those that took the MOTB. This is all part of the deception. All right, the pseudo promises, the fake promises. Okay, it says, but behind its language of safety lies something far more dangerous: a tool for censorship. Okay, censorship. Now, what is the word censorship? Let's see. And how does that affect anything in terms of biblical prophecy, right? Censorship, right? It says censor, or office of a censor, so meaning action of censoring. Okay, well, censor. Let's look up the word censor. It says Roman magistrate of 5th century BCE who took censuses and oversaw public manners and morals. Ooh, right. So this goes back to the Roman Empire. So the concept of censorship alone, all right, which here says Roman magistrate of 5th century BCE who took censuses, right, and oversaw public manners and morals. The same thing they're doing now. Your behavior and so on and so forth. It says from French censor and directly from Latin, right, going back to Rome, censor. All right, from censire, to appraise, value, judge. Ooh. All right, speak solemnly, proclaim. It says source also of Sanskrit. Okay, it says recites praises as song of praise. Let's see here. Oh, it says they also had charge of public finances and public works. Ooh, right. Think of the IRS and the banks and so on and so forth. Okay, right. Ultimately, it's your government. All right. It says the Roman magistrate. The magistrate is pretty much the heads. All right. It says the transferred sense of officious judge of morals and conduct. That's the key. All right. It says in English is from 1590s. All right. Latin censor had also a transferred sense of a severe judge, a rigid moralist, a censurer. Okay. A severe judge. Whoa. Isn't that biblical prophecy? All right, let's get that in Isaiah 19. All right, it's the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 4 says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, right? Cruel master, cruel Lord, cruel magistrate, so to speak, right? And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Okay, so the concept of censorship comes with the severe / cruel nature of that so-called king, and that man is going to be Donald Trump. Look at the people around him and look at what they stand for and what they represent. It's nothing but censorship. And when we go into the definition of censorship here, it says a severe judge, a rigid moralist, right? It says an officious judge of morals and conduct. So your behavior, your thought process, okay? Roman magistrate of 5th century BCE who took censuses and oversaw public manners and morals. Okay? So now we go into the book of Revelation 13. All right, and verse 11, it says, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, so the 2 horns represents the 2 political parties, right? But ultimately, they both work together. All right, it's 2 horns like a lamb, ultimately, representing how docile they are, right? In the sense of always speaking in the interest of the public. Okay, not a harmful thing. We're here for you, that kind of thing. We're here to serve you. Your government, go vote on all these different things. This is what we're going to do for you, and so on and so forth, right? It says that he spake as a dragon, but when it comes to their actual, playing out of what they so-called say and promise, it's all draconian. All right, the word dragon there goes to the word Draco, which means draconian, and that's the concept. All right, the draconian concept ties into the concept of censorship. Okay, so you see Europe doing it. All right, this is all leading to what? The MOTB, because they have to have that type of a rigid system that is, known for punishing you for the slightest of offenses. Okay, draconian. All right, and when you have Palantir and all these different things, Palantir got a thing called, what's it called? It's called Gotham something project or Shield or something. All right, and it's also known as killing bot or something. It's a name that they have for it. The kill chain, that's what it is. Right, the kill chain, which is some AI thing that they have, which basically gathers information or intelligence on somebody, and then it pretty much makes the person out to be a target, and they could just shoot them things on you. Eliminate targets. That's what they said. Kill the target. So identify, trace, and eliminate. That's pretty much the concept of kill chain. All right, and Palantir is doing that. Okay. So anyway, continue. It says, disinformation, hate speech, and illegal content, these are all in quotes, are now whatever Brussels says they are. If your beliefs conflict with prevailing political ideologies, whether on sexuality, morality, or truth itself, you can be silenced. Not just in one country, but across the entire European bloc. All right, and remember, the European Union is a half of that beast that's spoken of in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay, the concept of the NATO and the EU. All right, that's modern day that beast system. So that's why EU is doing the same exact thing that the countries in the West are also going to be doing, led by America, Babylon the Great. As Biden said a few years ago, there's going to be a new world order out there, and we got to, be the leaders of it. We got to take the lead. We got to be the ones to bring it in. Okay, as you see Trump and China, going back and forth at the beginning of the year, talking about AI race and all these different things, AI arms race, right? It was all speeding up the process for them to bring in this MOTB. The system has to be set up first, right? So they had to kick into overdrive with this whole concept of competition. They got it. Now we got to get it. Oh, let's see. Oh, goodness. We just signed a $500 billion deal with Oracle and Sam Altman's company and, Yoshi something son or whatever. Something bank, And we're going to bring in Project Stargate. So crazy. All right. This is all Babylonian bullshit anyway. All right. Anyway, continue. It says, it's no longer paranoia to say that the government is watching. It's policy. Can you believe that? It is policy. Okay? That's crazy. Big Brother's watching you. It used to be a conspiracy theory. Now it is policy. It says, combine this with the growth. Now, just a quick example, right? Imagine this is the world that's about to happen very soon, when they have all these surveillance cameras everywhere, okay, watching everything you do. You know that feeling when you about to hit a red light, it's yellow, but as soon as you hit, you kind of caught in between, so you don't want to stop. You break the, you don't want to do that, so you just want to run through that shit. And as you're going through it, your eyes are looking on the light, like trying to see if you could beat it, if you could beat the light. And then it turns red. As soon as you get right underneath that shit, it turns red, right? Or maybe it turns red right before you get to it. What do you typically, the feeling is, let me just run through this shit quick and hope nobody saw me, right? No cop saw me or whatever. And that feeling of not even trying to look around to see if a cop saw you, it's just, you just keep your head straight just to keep driving through the shit. Imagine that, but every single day, not just at red lights and traffic lights, but everywhere you go. Imagine that. Everywhere you go, you got cameras watching you. You know how uncomfortable that's going to be? But leave it to these people. They're sheeple anyway. They're not going to them, it's just, it's keeping everyone safe. Meanwhile, crime is going crazy. Look what's going on in damn Philly. All right. So I saw a video earlier today, and these dudes, man, Jake, man, judgment is coming. Judgment is coming, man. All right. They love to shed blood. All right. They're shooting up the whole place. Nigga shooting with his eyes closed and everything. They said 3 people died. There's a whole bunch of degenerates just hanging out at night around. It's just crazy, man. Hey, may the Most High keep bringing them judgments, man. Anyway, to continue, it says, combine this with the growing reach of the EU Digital Identity Wallet, an app that will soon store your driver's license, health records, tax status, education history, and more. And more? What you mean and more? And more. It's going to be everything. All right. It says, and you have a society where everything, there you go, everything about you is digitized, categorized, and controllable. This is no longer voluntary. We always say the mandatory implementation. Listen to this. It says, this is no longer voluntary. More and more services will soon require digital identification. Lose access to your ID wallet, and you could lose your right to bank, to travel, to work, or to speak. Okay? Proponents say the digital wallet makes life easier. No more paperwork, they say. Faster check-ins, fewer lines. This is part of the deception, right? But behind the sleek design is a darker reality. See? Once every essential piece of your life is digitized, it becomes programmable, modifiable, revocable. And that lines up perfectly with what Aaron Russo was saying to Alex Jones all those years ago. Okay, now they would say, he's just a conspiracy theorist. So there was never a guy named Nick Rockefeller that ever existed and all this extra shit. Well, whatever the man said that Nick Rockefeller told him, it's exactly what's playing out now. So you could say he was lying and all this extra shit, but guess what? He was confirming everything that the prophets have been saying, starting from my elders and apostles of great millstone on down. Okay? What is the MOTB, the mark of the beast? We've been breaking it down for time and memorial. Now it's coming to pass. Now it's all coming to pass. Okay? It says, a single error in your data or a single opinion deemed hateful or misinformed could lock you out of the system entirely. And who decides what's an error? Who decides what's hateful? This isn't fiction. It's happening. And the people of Europe are sleepwalking into a digital trap they may never escape. All right. And that's just it's not just Europe. Okay. Imagine going to buy groceries, but your digital wallet flashes red. Access denied. Your doctor tries to prescribe treatment, but your health ID doesn't load. You try to express a belief online, only to find your account suspended and your name flagged as a potential risk. That's not safety. That's control. This is not just a political shift. It's a spiritual one. Here we go. Check this out. It says, the Bible warns of a time when no one will be able to buy or sell unless they carry a certain mark. See? A global system of control. A counterfeit kingdom where loyalty is demanded and truth is punished. Damn. It says, could these digital systems, framed as helpful tools, be laying the groundwork for exactly that? See? The reality, see, as you get closer to the prophecy being fulfilled, everything the prophets have been saying is all lining up perfectly. Did we not say this was going to happen? Just when your ability to function in society is tied to a digital ID, and that ID is tied to ideological compliance, you are no longer free. You are owned. All right, and that CHIP is how you get owned. All right, because that's your identity. That's who you pledge your life to, basically. Your company that owns you, the technocrat that owns you, whether it's going to be from OpenAI, whether it's going to be from Palantir, whether it's going to be from Neuralink, whether it's going to be from Neuralace, whatever. Okay, whatever. You still owned, ultimately, by the Rothschilds anyway. Okay, the elites of this empire. Okay, and the Most High going to destroy you and His kingdom. All right, Revelation 14:9 on down tells you that, and that's also fast approaching, because that happens when World War III kicks off, in the sense that it goes nuclear and America meets her maker, I should say. Okay, our date with destiny, the day of the Lord. All right. Keep talking your shit. It's over with. It says, we are witnessing the infrastructure of Revelation 13 being assembled before our very eyes. A beast-like system that merges commerce, identity, and belief into a single coercive structure. And belief doesn't necessarily have to do with religion per se. All right. Belief in the sense of what you as an individual may believe in, with events that may be going on at a time. In other words, you're disagreeing with a given narrative. You have your own thoughts, right? And it goes contrary to what they want you to think. Hence the thought police got to come find you and re-educate you so you can get with the program. Get it? So continue, it says, it may not look like tyranny now. That's the brilliance of it. No, that's the deception of it. See, that is the deception of it. It says tyranny dressed in progress, oppression disguised as innovation. There you go. That's why they have these technocrats who are in front of all this stuff and behind all of this stuff. Okay, because it's technological, so-called. It's a tyranny, as the article says, dressed in technological progress. Okay, and for that technological progress to actually advance and to be fulfilled, as they say it, right? In order to achieve our goal, and so on and so forth, each and every individual human being will have to have a microchip in their underneath your hand or underneath your skin, right hand, forehead, anywhere you're gonna put it, you still got it. Done. Okay. So at this point, the mindset and the goal should be, under no circumstances are you supposed to take that thing, no matter what happens. Because who the hell want to live like this? They lie to you and tell you, oh, this is going to make your life easy, and then you take it, and now you're like, damn, like what the hell? You know, it's a prison, literally underneath your skin. They watch everything you do. They could tell everything you're thinking. Oh, who would actually live like that? You know, and at that point, ain't no privacy. Everywhere you go, you're tracked. Now, if you don't have the C-hip, you can go places that don't got no cameras and shit like that. You're going to be all right. But if you have that C-hip, wherever you go, you're going to be tracked down. Okay? That's a miserable life. You're literally a slave. You can't get off no plantation. All right? But meanwhile, we just going to be waiting in the cut, waiting for our Lord to come get us up out of here. And He's going to make a way. Okay? He's going to make a way. Let's get that real quick. All right? He's going to make a way, man. Yahushua will make a way for His elect. All right. There's a book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? Which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, and that's what you're seeing. Europe is taking the leading steps. All right, and soon every other country, everywhere you go, Africa, China, Europe, we're seeing, right? America, North America, South America, you know what I'm saying? The islands, right? Wherever they could reach with this technological advancement is going to reach. Okay, if you're in a country that has internet, you best believe they're going. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. The internet of all things. Okay, it says today it's a digital wallet. Tomorrow it will be your only lifeline to the world, and it can be cut off at the push of a button. The warnings of Scripture were not metaphorically poetry. They were prophetic alerts. Okay? So IUIC be doing all this metaphorical poetry shit? No. It says they are prophetic alerts. I love that. Prophetic alerts. Okay? It says we are closer than ever to the world it described. Okay? This is beautiful. So the question is no longer, will it happen? It's how soon, and are you ready? See? This is a beautiful article right here. All right, beautiful, beautiful article. You know what I mean? And because it pretty much sums everything up that we've been saying. All right, because as the prophecy gets closer, it becomes so clear and so obvious that even everyone around the world is like, yo, this thing right here sounds and looks just like what's written in Revelation 13. Okay? And we've broken it down ad nauseum. All right, now all of a sudden you're going to start seeing people come up with their own interpretation. Well, it doesn't really say 666. It says 616 and all this dumb shit. You see? Because we're in that time where now, the prophecy is here. Everybody got something to say about it. But ultimately, what the prophets have been speaking through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is what will prevail. Okay? It's what will prevail, man. We are so close to getting up out of here. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, it's the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Call Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Anyway, I'm leaving it off there. Lord willing, you edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachel Kodash, the water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Shabbat Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Brakatam. Shalom.